Hello and welcome to Unpreachy, a podcast of homilies and reflections from St. John Chrysostom Parish. Today, Father Brian Zumbrum reflects on Mark chapter 3, verses 20 to 35, the Gospel reading for Sunday, June 9th, 2024.
So a few months ago, I was facilitating a series of friendly competitions between our students, including a game that, thank you TikTok, was brought into my world, which was one student would coat their face in shaving cream, another student would throw cheese balls at it to see how many they could get to stick in a given amount of time. What could possibly go wrong with such a game? On a gym floor that was needed for a basketball game several hours after these competitions. So, all began to unravel really early in this process when I get two of my colleagues and go grab tarps so we can minimize the disaster to the floor. If by tarps I meant get two of the admissions banners that we hang outside and use them, that's what they did. Now, not only were the banners not large enough, but also were not meant to be trampled on or covered in cheese dust and shaving cream. So as the games are going on, I am watching the mess literally just grow farther and farther and farther until I've got about a third of the court coated in white and orange dust everywhere. As I watch the mess grow, I am becoming both more anxious and frustrated as it goes along, to the point that when the games end, we are now in full-blown martyr mode. I will just do this. I will clean it up. I trust no one. If you want something done, do it yourself. Now, the more I give these vibes, it's like students get this little sixth sense of let's be as attempting to be helpful as possible. So I get, Father Brian, how can we help you? Children, at this point, you've all lost. I've already decided in this moment that I am just going to do this. That I am going to, by sheer force of will, regain control over a situation that I have utterly lost control. And then enter the final act. When a child, sprinting across the floor to come assist me, hits the recently mopped portion of the floor, starts sliding, and then scissor kicks the bucket of water over now 3/4 of the gym floor in this cascade of dirty orange water at the exact moment that the basketball teams come pouring in to start to practice. That day was not my finest hour as an oblate of St. Francis de Sales. I was, maybe at my proverbial worst, filled with a lot of self-righteous indignation and an ample supply of blame that I was dishing out in abundant quantities. Students, colleagues, TikTok, the inventor of mops, literally anyone and everything was beginning to get my wrath. But it was because I hated, in front of the entire school, looking like a fool and a failure. That the proverbial curtain had been ripped back, and now everyone knew the truth. I'm not perfect, I've lost complete control, and everything is a disaster right in this moment. Which is funny, because I think it's why, as I've gotten older, I have so much more empathy for Adam and Eve than I used to. I think when I was a kid, I was always kind of confused because it seemed pretty straightforward. Don't eat the piece of fruit. Of all the things I am asked not to do, healthy eating feels like an easy one for me to go, I cannot accomplish that today. But I realized it's never been about the fruit. It's about everything that the fruit would have given them access to. The belief that they were in control, that they were masters of their own destiny, that they would have all the answers, that they would be perfect, little gods who could control their destiny, that would have all the power to set their life on the course they wanted. And when Adam and Eve realized that isn't true. We find themselves plunged into the same shame and fear that so many of us know, and we watch as they lash out at those around them with all the same blame cycles we know too well. It's funny, Adam and Eve's story feels like one we watch play out again and again and again throughout human history, throughout our scriptures, in our own lives. It's what spurred the crowds to dismiss Jesus as crazy, to call him demonic. It's what made his very family so uncomfortable, because Jesus was not someone they understood, and he was certainly not about to be controlled or manipulated. And so, they did what is always easiest when faced with these truths. They dismissed him, they attacked him, because that is always easier than having to sit with the uncomfortable reality that we're not in control, that we don't know everything, and that we're not perfect. But I've become convinced that it's these truths that ultimately set us free. And so, my friends, today we're invited to once again embrace the hard truths, the truth that yes, we're flawed, but yet also made in the image of the divine. The truth that yes, we are imperfect, but we are also redeemed. The truth that we are not in control, and yet we're embraced by the God who is. Let's embrace these truths, my friends, and they may just set us free. May God be praised.
Unpreachy is a production of St. John Chrysostom Parish in Wallingford, Pennsylvania. Visit us at sjcparish.org. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. This podcast was produced by Brendan Lorden with music by Skytoes on Upbeat. Thanks for listening. Be well.